Hello everyone, welcome to the first class on Digital Communication Lab. Basically, in this class, we'll perform different laboratory experiment associated with digital communication using simulation tools like MATLAB. Okay, hope all these classes or the experiment using MATLAB will help you to understand the corresponding theory of digital communication with more clarity. Okay, so let's coming to the first experiment that we will discuss today, that is the analysis of sampling theorem using MATLAB. So as we know, the sampling theorem as is nothing but, okay, sorry. So as you know, that as per the sampling theorem, for effective reconstruction of a message signal, the criteria is the minimum sampling rate should be greater than equal to twice of the message signal. Okay, so in this experiment we'll see the time domain representation and frequency domain representation of a message signal, and then we'll perform the sampling and check whether sampling theorem validate or not for this particular problem. Okay, so for this experiment we are using MATLAB. Hope all you have installed MATLAB in your laptop, and I am just showing the corresponding MATLAB code for this experiment, and we'll discuss code one by one. First of all, just let's run the code, and after that we'll or I shall clarify each of the output. Okay, so now coming to the our problem, that first of all we have to consider a message signal. Okay, so in this for this experiment we'll consider a message signal like this: sine 2 pi t minus sine 6 pi t. Okay, so you can see that the frequency of the first part of the signal is 1 hertz, and the frequency of the second part is the 3 hertz. Okay, as is sine 2 pi ft, where f is the frequency. So you can see that the total in this message signal there are two part. One is 1 hertz sinusoidal, and another is 3 hertz sinusoidal. So as per the Nyquist theorem, to sample this signal, minimum required sampling rate is 3 into 2, that is 6 hertz. That means above 6 hertz is permissible for us. Okay, okay, so let's see. First of all, what we have to do, what we will do, that we'll plot this type of signal, sinusoidal signal, in time domain. Then we'll perform the Fourier transform to observe the spectrum of the corresponding message signal, and then we will check the corresponding sampled version of the signal in time domain in and also in both frequency domain. Okay, so these are the some MATLAB command: clear all, close all, and CLC. These are for used for clear the screen and close the others window and clear all the memory. Okay, now let's see. This is TOT. TOT means, as we already define it as total time duration for plot of the message signal. That means if this is the message signal, you can see that the time duration is from 0 to 1. So maximum time duration is defined by TOT. Okay. Next one is the TD, time gap between two instants. So basically, whenever we try to plot a continuous signal in the MATLAB, so basically we have to calculate the value of the signal at each of the timing instance. Okay, so to make it continuous, we need to use more number of times instances. Okay, So this is basically the gap between two such instances. So TD is the 0.002 second. So here, so suppose at 0 second you substitute t equal to 0 and get particular value. Suppose this value x, okay, 0. Then it will calculate the value of message signal at 0.002 second, then 0.004 second, such okay, and we get ultimately this kind of function. Okay, so then next we define t as 0 colon td to to. That means we are defining total time spaces, okay, or time instances within 1 second. Or that means first the value of t is first 0, then 0.002, 0.004, 0.006, like this, and it will go up to 1. Okay, and it will calculate the length. You can see that, and we define x sine 2 pi t minus sine 6 pi t. Now we have to plot it. So how can we plot? So in x-axis we plot time, in y-axis we plot amplitude. So plot t comma x, okay, line width, that means the width of the corresponding sketch that has been observed in output as output of the MATLAB. So you can change the, if you want to get more width, we can change the value of this. Okay, so you can see the you can so we have plot the time domain signal. Sorry, we have plot the message signal in time domain, and we will find that this is the basically input message signal that will look in the time in the time domain. Okay, so this is the input message signal title. You can see that this is input message signal. Okay, now we have to perform, or we have to check the corresponding spectrum of this input message signal. Okay, so to observe the message spectrum of the message signal, we need to perform the Fourier transform, as we already know. But in case of MATLAB, we are we should use the first Fourier transform. Okay, basically, although this is look like the continuous signal, but actually in MATLAB, what we have done, that we are calculating the value of message signal at each of the timing in time instance, but the time instance are very close to each other. That's why it look like original continuous signal, but actually this is already discrete one. Okay, because the value of x, here you can see the value of x will be in discrete manner. Okay, so basically the value, this is basically the this is actually discrete. Okay, this is actually discrete one. Now to observe the first Fourier to observe the or to calculate the Fourier transform of this discrete signal, we need to use DTFT, or discrete type Fourier transform, and the upgraded version was fast Fourier transform. We will you will learn the details about the fast Fourier transform in the digital signal processing lab. But right now, at this moment, just uh, check, just know that in MATLAB, to perform the to know to draw the spectrum, we need to use fast Fourier transform for any kind of signal, and this one is the corresponding MATLAB code. Okay, so right now at this moment I am not elaborating this code because you don't know about the fast Fourier transform. Just remind that we need to use the Abe max, which is divided by 1 by 2 TD. TD is nothing but the time gap. Okay, and the spectrum will lies between F minus F max to F max. Okay, and this one is the corresponding command FFT shift FFT x LFFT. Okay, so after this x FFT is nothing but the corresponding Fourier transform of the signal x. Okay, so if we plot corresponding value, absolute value of the Fourier transform with respect to frequency, then we would need to use this f axis. Here you can see that we define another thing like f max minus f max to f max LFFT. Okay, so basically the frequency spectrum will lies between minus f max to m max. Okay, so we plot f axis, which is plot according to the which is plot in the x axis and amplitude in the y axis. So this is the corresponding command to identify the spectrum of the message signal. Okay, and this here you define the axis. Okay, the range of the axis is defined as minus 50 to 50. That means for the frequency axis, this one is minimum value is minus 50 hertz and the maximum value is 50 hertz, and the amplitude will minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 300. Now you can see that corresponding spectrum. Okay, so here it is very interesting to find that the although the message signal consists of 1 hertz and 3 hertz sinusoidal, that means the max bandwidth of the message signal should be 3 hertz. Okay, but you can see that the spectrum will not remain in between 3 hertz. Okay, so during the theory class of the digital communication, I have already told that a time domain signal, a time limited signal cannot be band limited, and a band limited signal cannot be time limited. Okay, here you can see that we have used a time limited signal. Okay, we have used a time limited signal because we define here x from 0 to 1 second. That means it is uh, it is uh, defined within a particular time limit. So this is basically time limited signal. So obviously, as it is time limited, so its spectrum will not be band limited. That means you can see that its Fourier spectrum continuously um, extended up to the infinite, though although the value are almost zero, but there is some kind of value. Okay, so here it is also interesting to know that find that the spectrum maximum spectrum will remain in between 10 to minus 10 hertz for this particular signal x. Okay, so although here the message theoretical bandwidth of this signal is 3 hertz, but if we for practical cases, okay, for practical cases the bandwidth will be 10 hertz. Okay, because maximum spectrum will remain in between 10 hertz. Okay, minus 10 and 10. So this is the basically the bandwidth. This section is the bandwidth. So for practical purpose, for theoretical reason, the Nyquist rate will be 6 hertz. But as we can see that the practical bandwidth of this signal is 10 hertz, so minimum required sampling rate will be 2 into 10, that is 20 hertz. Okay, so here, so for practical purpose, the sampling rate should be greater than 20 hertz. Okay, so okay, clear, fine. Okay, now coming to this, so this one is the basically the spectrum of the input signal. Okay, now coming to the sampling value. This is the basically sampling period. Okay, 0 to, that means sampling rate equal to fs equal to 1 by 0.02. That means 50 hertz. Oh, sorry. So if you set ts equal to 0.02, corresponding sampling rate is 50 hertz. Okay, fine. Now, as this one was already mentioned, we can try the sampling rate 5 hertz, 10 hertz, 20 hertz, 50 hertz for corresponding ts equal to 0.2, 0.1, and 0.1, 0.2 second. Okay, although maximum frequency of xt is 3 hertz, Nyquist rate should be 6 hertz. But 6 hertz is suitable, so above 6 hertz is suitable for us. But xt is time limited, so its spectrum spread beyond the 3 hertz. So we find that as it is spectrum, most of the spectrum lies between the 3 10 hertz. So obviously for this particular problem, the practical Nyquist rate will be 20 hertz. But however, for better clarity, we have chosen 50 hertz sampling rate. That means ts equal to 1 by fs, that means 0.02. Okay, fine. So uh, Now coming to the sampling part. So how can we get the sampled signal from the original one? So basically here, so this one is the basically the continuous portion. So for sample person, suppose this will be at this point, the sample value will be this, at this point sample value will be like this. Okay. So how many number of sample we want, that is depend on the value of the ratio that is known as the n factor. Okay. So ts by td, that is defined as the number of sample which want to observe in the time domain representation of the sample signal. So here ts by td, in factor, ts is the number of timing instant of the original signal. Now td, sorry, ts is the sampling period of the sampling period, and td is the time gap between two instants of the original signal. So this define the number of sample, this ratio define the number of sample that we want to observe. That means actually we already told that x consists of uh, number of like 50 number of 501 number of value of x. Okay. Now during sample we don't want to observe all 50 number of sample. Okay. So for this purpose we need to reduce the number of sample. So for that purpose here you need a command that is called as down sample. Okay. So down sample means what? Down sample x n factor means it we want to decrease the sampling rate x by keeping every n factor value. Okay. So here first of all, like we as x consists of 50 number of value, so 0, the value at 0 time instant it will keep. Then uh, after as this ratio, what is the value of this ratio depends. Suppose this value is okay, suppose this one value is zero point zero 0.02. Okay, point yes, 0.002. So we want to check corresponding sample value at 0.002, 0.004 point, sorry, 0.02, 0.04, 0.06, 0.08, like this. Okay, like this it will continues. Okay. So here we can see that this ratio, so for particular value, the value of this n factor will be 51. So you will get ultimately 51 number of sample. Here you can see the 51 number of sample. Okay. uh, but the question arises, sir, during the sampling how can we get, if we multiply a impulse train with the corresponding message signal, we get the sample version. Okay, so that is a theoretical purpose, but if you want to observe the sample version of a signal in the MATLAB, so this is the most easiest portion. Okay. Easiest process. Okay. So just we just down we reduce or decrease the sampling rate by n factor and we get the corresponding sampling. Now we'll plot it. Okay. So now we define another sampling instant, like from 0 to to 0 to 1, but the here the gap is 0.02. Okay. Now we plot it. Here you use the another term stem. Okay, keyword stem basically it help to plot the discrete data sequence. Okay, it will plot. Okay. Here you can see the this one is the discrete data sequence, this one is discrete, this one is discrete, this one is discrete. But if you just plot the use the command plot, so it will make it continuous, like look like this. So to observe the any discrete value we need to use the command stem. It is, yes, it is stem. So we'll find out like this stem. Okay. This is the, you can see that this is the time domain representation. So x-axis in time and y-axis amplitude, and you get like this. Okay. So now let's coming to the fourth part, that is to observe the sam- spectrum of the sample signal. Now to observe the spectrum of the sample signal, we need to make zero value of the message signal except the sampling instance. So here, because basically you can see that uh, for this case, Suppose this value is nothing but xsm. We plot xsm. You can see that stem tsm xsm. So this is the xsm. Okay, that means sampled. So xsm consists of total 51 number of data. Okay, now if we make the Fourier spectrum of it, it will be defined from the original one. Why? As per the theory, if we multiply impulse train with the any message signal in, and if you observe the spectrum of the corresponding sampled signal, we can see that the spectrum of the original message signal will be shifted at fs plus minus fs plus minus 2 fs plus minus 3 fs, look like this. Okay, so uh, okay, so that is theoretical portion. But original message signal consists of 50 number one discrete value, but here total 51 number of discrete value. So MATLAB basically computational tool. It will not understand the difference between two. Okay, so it will treat like a defined signal which have total 51 number of value. Okay, it will not consider there are suppose total 10 number of value, 9 cases the value are 0. Okay, so so to get the spectrum of the sampled version, we need to make zero value of the message signal except the sampling instant. So here this one is the sampling instant. Okay, this one is the next, but in between them all the ninth value are 0. So we have to make all the value as 0. Okay, so for this easiest way to perform this, okay, by using keyword upsample. By using this command, we resample the discrete time dynamic system model at a sampling rate, that is n factor time. That means xsm consists of 51, but we will multiply it by 10 times, and it will get ultimately 501 number of sampling instant, and all the uh, instances between two successive instances of our xsm will become 0. Okay, so we get xsm u equal to upsample xsm n factor. Okay, now this will be symmetric to the this signal, which will also consist of same number of time instance as the original one. Okay, now to plot now again the same to observe the spectrum, same formula. First we are transform for the sample signal, LFU length calculate, then we'll set the maximum limit f max u, and we'll get the use the first Fourier transform FFT shift FFT XSM LFU, and to plot it we have to set the axis here, and we get plot the absolute value of XFF. Okay, so ultimately and here we set the axis range from minus 120 to 120, 0, 300 by n factor. Whenever we make the sampling, the amplitude of the spectrum will be reduced by the corresponding factor, that is n factor for this particular problem, and we will get ultimate this type. Okay, here you can see that you as we use the sampling ts equal to point zero 0.02, ts equal to 0.02. Okay, so obviously the sampling frequency is 50 hertz. So obviously in case of spectrum of the sampled signal, the spectrum will be shifted at plus minus fs, that means plus minus 50 hertz, plus minus 100 hertz, like this. Okay, so uh, uh, so uh, okay, so here you can see that this was the original spectrum, and after that the spectrum is shifted at 50 hertz, minus 50 hertz, 100 hertz, or minus 100 hertz, like this. Okay, so this is the spectrum of the sample signal. Okay, interestingly that if you use the value f is equal to 50 hertz, then obviously these two spectrum are not overlapping. That means we can easily extract or reconstruct the original signal from this. Okay, now let's check under sampling. That means if we can try the sampling rate at 5 hertz. Okay, so let's see what will happen. So for 5 hertz, the value of T is equal to zero point 0.2. So let's see what will happen. So if we set value of T is equal to zero point 0.2 corresponding to the sampling rate 5 hertz, which is below the below of the Nyquist rate, so you can see that sample signal time version will look like this, and corresponding spectrum will look like this. That obviously it is so the clear overlapping with each other. That means we cannot reconstruct the message signal from it. Okay, so let's try another. Let's try suppose uh, point 1. So point 1 corresponding to the 10 hertz sampling rate. That means higher than the cost value. So here you can see the spectrum are differentiable, but still they are overlapping with each other. Okay, so here okay, so fs equal to 10 hertz is not applicable for this problem. Minimum, as you already told, for this particular problem, minimum Nyquist rate is, or Nyquist rate is 20 hertz. So let's set is at 0.05 second, because this is 0.05 corresponding to the 20 hertz. Okay, now let's see. So obviously, sorry, point, it will be set to 0.05, 0.05. Okay, so yeah, you can see that output, and sampled follow the corresponding input signal. We can observe that, and here obviously spectrum will be shifted to 20, 40, 60, 80, minus 20, minus 40, minus 60, minus 80, like this. And obviously spectrum will not overlap with each other. So this is the best or practical Nyquist rate for this particular problem, as the signal input message signal is the time limited. Okay, so but formally, for better clarity, we'll set to Ts equal to 0.02, that is corresponding to the 50 hertz sampling period, and we get ultimately this kind of spectrum. Okay, so figure 1 corresponding to the input message signal, figure 2 corresponding to the spectrum, whose maximum spectrum or maximum amplitude lies in between 10 hertz, so the bandwidth is 10 hertz, you can say that. Okay, so the minimum Nyquist rate is the 2 into 10, that is 20 hertz for this practical problem. This one is the sampled version, and this one is the corresponding spectrum of the sampled. And as we are using 50 hertz, so you can see the spectrum are shifted at plus minus 50, plus minus 100, like this, and we can easily extract the or reconstruct the message signal from the spectrum by using a low pass filter. Okay, so this is the basically experiment number 1. So in your home you will try this particular problem, and you can also check the uh, spectrum for the others kind of input message signal. So suppose you are considering a sync function or other function, and observe the corresponding spectrum and how it will behave after the sampling. Okay, so that is your home task, and in the next lab we will basically observe the reconstruction of the sampling signal. Okay, so I hope this simulation using MATLAB to will help you to clear your confusion regarding the sampling theorem. Okay, thanks a lot.